I'm working on cleaning up this hinge area. I got a little plate here I cut out of the brackets, and I got another little piece cut out here to kind of angle iron patch this up where the old door lock used to go. I've got it pretty straight right here. It's overlapping just a little right there, but I'm in pretty good shape. This needs to be pounded in a little, but I think I'm good enough to tack this. And I gotta have a washer on here to get this out, so the door will clear this washer. This will all be plenty low. I don't know about this this area right here, but I'm gonna tack it onto this plate pretty good right here, and then I'm gonna take a little punch or something and try to punch that in. It's just really thin metal right here behind it, so I probably ought to cut it off, but what I'm going to try to do is just punch it in and tack it. We'll see how it goes. Well, I used a little filler rod right in the areas where it was cracked, right in this edge up here, and I got pretty good weld on it. Don't look so bad. From the back here it's kind of boogered up, but looks like this is all pretty straight. And I did get this plate welded in real good, and that was the purpose. So now I'll take my little grinder and clean this up a little. I think the door will close like it is, but I want to make it look better. Wasn't my goal to spend all day on this, but I've got this particular hole pretty much welded up real good. I don't see any holes in it or anything. I ground it down. Looks alright. I'll hit it with a flapper disc that'll smooth it out, and then I'll have to Bondo this anyway, so this will all look fine. Main thing is it's super strong now, and this whole piece is now one piece. I'm not seeing any flex in it at all, and that's kind of important on the door. That angle iron helped a lot. I've still got to make some tin here. I'm going to try to bend a piece to fit this. Don't know exactly how I'll do that. I don't have a tubing or a sheet metal brake, so what I do is just put it in a vise and pound it, but I can't really make a 1/2 inch piece here. Probably what I'll do is make 190 welded in here, and then make another 90 from the back. Actually, just that would be only a flat piece. Make a 90 across here, and then a flat piece in the back, and then weld it right in the seam on the back side. So that'll fix that hole. It's these little tiny things that that take all the time. I didn't want to unclamp my thing to check to see if my door works. I'm sure it does. Looks like I got a little weld on my bolt here. But it's going to go in and tighten up good. So I want to get onto this mount for the rear. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is measure it, cut me a piece of that old rusty pipe to the right length, see what I can do about mounting it. I've got these two brackets here for the, don't know what that was. That was probably a mounting bracket. Look, I got a bolt in one of them. The other one's all right. I can't really tell in there what's going on, but this one's got two holes I can tap. Clean them rust out of there. This one's probably got one bolt in it, broke off. Yeah, but it looks like I can get a tap into that other hole. And don't know if I'll come from that down to here, down to this top of the fender, or whether I'll go from that top piece all the way to the frame. But the first piece I got to make is this pipe going across the top. I'll measure it and see what I can cut up here. Well, I decided to use a 1-inch piece in there. Cut me a long piece there. Unfortunately, I had to notch it there about 6 inches and bend it down because it was hitting the side. But I beat it out here on the floor until I got it to the right shape. I tacked it in a couple times here on each side on the bottom on those brackets, and one little tack in the middle. So this should be pretty strong. I still got one holding it up, but that's good enough to run something to the frame. Figure out where my level is. I can see over there it's touching the rear frame horn, and that one's like 1 inch off. But that's a good start, and it'll clean up and weld into this part pretty good. And that's where my hinges are going to have to go. Probably right here on this, where this plate is. So that's got to be pretty strong. Anyway, now I've got this in, I can start measuring and see what I'm going to get. Ouch. Banging my head still. Yeah. Magnetic tape measures good and bad at the same time. Okay, looks like I got about 21.5 inches straight down to the frame. And this side, looks like it's about 21. So, surprisingly enough, I'm pretty close as it is. Well, that one's closer, so I'll raise this up 1/2 inch. I don't know exactly how I'll do it. Maybe with a board under it. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be the best way. Let's pound this down with a hammer. Fancy tape quit on me there. Okay, so I got 20.5 straight down now. And that's with the right the edge of the trunk. This one. Oh, it's almost 20.5. I'm gonna raise it up a little more. Hopefully I'm lifting this side more than I am the other. Well, 21. This one, 21.5. So adjust this over to the left. Whoops, whole thing fell off. Anyway, I think you get the idea here. Kind of hard doing this with one hand. Yeah, it looks like it's bending the sheet metal there. Alright, survey says 21. Survey says 21.5. So I got it too high on this side. Well, that brought it down a lot. 21. And $21.5. So I think what I need to do is get me a little flat bar there and just tack it on. Tack it on up there, tack it on here on the frame, and that'll hold it at my right size or right height. I've got some little 1/2 inch flat galvanized, work good for that, and it'll still bend even if it's welded up. So I'll do a few more measurements here and we'll see if we can figure out how to prop this up to the right height. Turned out what was stopping it was this angle iron bracket. I tried to straighten it once, never could, but got my fancy little plasma cutter here. I went through the frame in a couple of places, but I got it off. So it's easy enough to weld up a frame. Looks like it's got some pretty bad pitting here. I'll box this all. This is really not going to be holding springs or anything, so it doesn't have to be that strong. But anyway, I can kind of grind this up, clean it up a little bit, and then I can let it back down again, but it just wouldn't go down anymore. Hit that bracket and I couldn't adjust it at all, so I guess that's it for that. Thank God for plasma cutter. I'd have been in there forever with a Sawzall. Well, I got these couple of pieces of iron clamped in there to hold up this back edge. This driver's side is 29.5. And this side about 29.5. Maybe a little bit low on the right, but I moved it around with a screwdriver to where it felt like it was the best. I don't know if this is square or anything else, but I got my seams clamped good here, and they're matching up over there on the other side. I don't know what I got here. Measure it. Do the same trick here. At 20 inches straight down to the frame. And this one. Trying to do this backwards and left-handed. 20 inches to the frame. And this one. The tape's a little too big. And that one there's 20 inches to the frame. So it's pretty level. Looks like that back part was good enough. 20 inches to the frame. So technically I could cut two 20-inch pieces, and that should prop this up. Now I'm not in the center of the frame, or the hump of the frame. Let's see. Let's see if this thing will hold itself. It holds great when you don't want it to. I'll just put it on top here. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's going to hold. So I'm 3-4 inches, more than that, 6 inches away from the center of the frame. That means this bottom piece is going to have a little bend in it, or a bevel cut in it. To get this brace made, but that's where it's going to have to go. And this one here, I can't just weld it to the frame. I got to build something to bolt to it. I don't have any bolt holes there. But anyway, the rear end is on, and it looks pretty good side to side. I got about 2 or 3 inches here, a couple here. Needs to go over to the driver's side just a little bit. And I'm not sure if I got my mounts here clamped straight either. But what I wanted to do was build something that was a solid height, and I could still move it around on that frame, slide it back and forth to raise and lower it. I guess I could make a bar all the way across there with two risers on it. Tack that all together. That would give me one good square tube frame in there. And I guess the first thing would be to run a piece across there, say 1 inch square, and that way it was set on the hump. At whatever angle it is, and then I could cut the bottom angle to fit the bottom, and then stick it up in there and mark it. Cut the top piece, and at that point I could just tack it. That would hold it side to side and up and down. Have to think about that a little bit. I kind of don't want to burn the steel just to make a square and then have to do something else. So I think where I got my kink up there is probably right at the outside of the frame. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a piece the same size as that frame right there, or probably the same size as what I've got up there on top. It hangs over the frame a little, so be it. And put that there on the frame, and then go about making me two risers. So I think that's what I'll do. And I can still bend and tweak it, run it up and down that slope there to raise and lower the middle. And when I got it in place, then I can weld an angle iron on it and bolt it into the frame. So that looks like the plan. Well, I've got this cage kind of done. I got it centered there on the package tray. It's centered on the frame. Everything's at about a 90. The body centered. It's a lot stronger. I had it tacked in, but right now it's just clamped, and not even much. But had a problem here. You can see this this seam is 2 inches off the frame, and here it's only like ½ an inch. Now I can kind of move it over, but see what happens is this panel in the middle starts to bend. I'm hitting that brace down there. This bracket I tried to bend, turned out that was a big riveted bracket. Thank goodness for plasma cutters. I chewed it up a little, but I managed to get it off, and you can see somebody had bent it up, and what this was riveted onto the frame, and then that big hole in here was the body mount. So that was keeping me from moving it around. So now I started beating on this dent. I flattened it a little right here, but I got to get this dent mostly beat out. This is all flexing, of course. You can see it's moving everything around. So what I need to do is straighten this all out. I had a big kink right here. I got most of it out. So I've got to weld me some kind of a brace in here along the bottom, one end to the other. So when I try to move that fender, you can see it's moving in and out just quite a bit by pulling this. It's still kind of in the same place, and this is just clamped up here on top. But I need to determine the shape of this and fix it. You see here, I'm just pushing with a finger. You can see the whole fender and everything moving in there. Not so bad on this side, but this one here is really bad. So I gotta fix me a mounting spot for the rear of this body. I can adjust the sheet metal to that. These bars right here just holding it up is all. Anyway, so that's what I got to do. I got to try to beat this out as straight as I can, so I'll have a little strength, and then I'm going to make me a bar that runs along the bottom here. See, I got pretty good edge right there. It's all rusted out here in the middle, and I've got a pretty good edge over there. So I think a 1/2 inch bar, square bar, will make a good bottom for this thing, and it'll tie this side into that side real good, and I can tack weld that in. This will firm the back up, and then I can kind of get the back more centered. It all is just floppy, and of course has been fooled around with over the years. I'm sure it's kind of bent, but I'll just get it to where it's straight, sitting on the frame straight and braced. Once I can get the body on, then of course these fenders are adjustable a little bit, and that splash panel, I've only got one on it. I can get the other splash panel on it, but then the body will be straight in the front, right in the middle of the door, right here at the back of the package tray, and right at the end. And once I can get this firmed up, I can make some kind of mounts for this back. So the body will be straight on the frame in 4 places. and from there I can adjust the rest of the sheet metal and tie it in and weld it. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is knock some dents out, and I'll bring you back a little later, see what kind of progress we make on getting this straight. Kind of to do any of this, I have to get this frame sorted out. I gotta tap any bolts that I have up in there, clean up whatever. I managed to get this brake drum off. It's over there. At least it protected it from the weather. It's pretty badly rusted. I may get away with being able to use it. Just wire brush it real good. My lathe won't, it's not big enough to turn it. But I definitely need new brakes and hardware for this rear end. I think this one here I can probably just clean up. It had the automatic adjuster was loose in it, but it's got good pads on it. I'll probably put new pads on them. That way at least anyway, that's beside the point. That's but I got that all off, and this body here looks pretty good. I've still got the same centering problem here, but at least now the fender's not messing with it. You can see the whole thing is moving now. It's being held by my center brace, so I can adjust whatever's there. Looks like they've marked the center line of the rear end. They're off a ½ inch here. I don't know if they marked the other side. Well, got a wheel on it, can't tell. But I've got two brackets here, one on each side. This one's got a bolt broke off in it. Now I don't know if I can yeah, you can see it's right above the axle there. I don't know if I can put a bolt in them and suck them up. They don't have anything to do with the fender. The fender, this one anyway, not too bad. It's got a few places need some welding, like right there in the corner. It's got a dent right there. There's some bolts, I don't know what they are, towards the back. I put PV blaster on them. But this fender's not too bad a shape. Holes are pretty good. I'll weld up something on that one. And got a couple places here. Can't tell if those were factory cutouts. This one obviously wasn't. But anyway, this is heavily rusted. So I'll rust converter this really good. Sand it with a DA. Let's see what the other one looks like. Here's the driver's side. Got them same bolts in it here. I don't know what they were supposed to hold. It's a little better shape. It's not beat up or bent very bad. So same deal with it. I'll rust converter it real good. Looks like the holes are pretty decent here. So the fenders will be alright. You know, they're not really got anything to do with me getting it on the car straight. But since I know I got to work on them, I'll do whatever little welding I got here. And I'll just rust converter both of these, and that way they can dry. And fix this bolt hole here. What I was thinking is just making a brace across there. That'd be kind of right in the middle of the trunk. I'd like to have some room to put a gas tank in there. I might put a 45 from there over to the frame. And I've got these big old heavy brackets here somewhere. I might be able to put something like that in there. But I think if I can pull this in, I won't have to be cutting on this and tubbing it. We'll see. I decided what I'll do on this for now anyway is once I weld the brace all the way across here, this is gonna dictate everything. So I think what I'm going to do is cut me a couple pieces of angle iron, bend them where they'll fit, and just tack weld them onto the fender, the body, and then I can clamp them onto the frame so I get the body straight and then figure out where it's binding from there. And then once I got it all straight, then I can go ahead and make a bracket that'll hold it where it's supposed to go. But if I make a bar across there now, I'm kind of stuck with whatever, and this is bending in and out quite a bit, so I think it's best if I locate it, clamp it with angle brackets, and then move on from there. So anyway, see if I can get this bolt welded out of here and do any patching up, sanding, rust converter, all this whole area here while I'm at it. Do my two fenders. That'd be enough to keep me busy for a while. Well, I was able to get a pile of weld on it. Took me 3 or 4 tries. But I finally got a vice grip on it and put some goop in there, and you just have to move it back and forth until it eventually comes out. Probably everybody's seen a lot of broken bolt videos, but this is basically how you do it. Well, here we go. I finished this one fender, rust converted it. You still see some rust in it. Need to hit it again because it was so thick, but it looks good. A lot better than that one that wasn't done. It does a good job. And I got the tail centered here. I had no idea what it was supposed to be. So I got that crack there 1 inch off the edge of the frame, and I got that one 1 inch off the edge of the frame. It's really solid. It's not going anywhere. It's not even squeaking or nothing. And really, all it's holding is that clamp right there in the middle. And of course the door skin there. But I've got the body centered. The tire just barely drags now. The other one I thought was dragging, but it was brake hardware that was loose in it. I don't know what we got here. It's to the frame. Of course, this tin's all bent. Let's see here. It looks like 1 inch off the frame, right to the end of my little cone piece. And I didn't check this part because it can be bent. This tire would be about here. Looks like it's right at the end of my chrome thing. So the wheel wells here are centered pretty good. Of course, these mounting brackets here are gonna keep this fixed, but it's really solid now. I'm actually kind of amazed how solid it is. Not as, nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I put one more piece there on the bottom, and probably run another 1/2 inch piece in there to the back, you know, just around the curve there. And bolt it good in the back. Put a couple side braces in it here. Probably just 2 angle iron right to that fender well there. And I can probably squish that in enough to get tire clearance. So everything's good. This door started sticking again. But this is just this piece of tin that's not really welded on. Probably didn't change anything there. I can move this sheet metal forward just a little, and the whole door is still bendy. But all in all, the body's on straight in the middle, straight in the front, straight in the back, and it's really solid considering it's not even welded or bolted or anything. Just really that one clamp in the middle is what's holding that rack. Everything looks good. Crash bang. So this is probably the straightest it's been in the last 30 years. I don't know how straight they were in the beginning. I put a little rust converter on this fender. I had a little left. You can sort of see what happened. Right there's where I quit. Does a pretty good job. I gotta redo this whole frame. You can see that dark spot down there where it ran down the frame. That's what it'll turn that into. Make it look good. There's a little where I overbrushed it. A lot better than just pure rust. I still got to do something here. And of course I got to mount this cowl right. But again, these are the brackets underneath the cowl. Main thing I was concerned about is getting the body on straight. It is on straight. And I'm clearing stuff. I got enough braces in it. I'll probably put some more. I got another 16 feet here. I got to put one more brace there right in front of that wheel well on both sides, and I need to run some kind of a brace around that cowl. Don't know exactly what I'll do there, but I don't think I'm gonna have to buy any more steel. Oh, well, yeah, I got to do the roof here, but it shouldn't really take too much there. I really don't think it'll be a lot. Probably just one piece from up here in the corner down here somewhere, and then maybe a 45 over. But I think I'm going to have enough 1 inch. I've still got that big piece of pipe, but as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty good success here. You know, I've got these big old heavy brackets down there on the floor. They're, I think, getting old. They're for wood or something. I think that they were to mount wood. But what I was just thinking is that, you know, I could mount these in here like this somehow. And maybe use these things to pull this fender in. I may not be able to pull the fender in. It may bend it too much. But anyway, I'll figure out the rest of the brackets for this. I'm kind of curious to stick that tire on there and see if it's hitting anymore. Well, that clearing half an inch maybe. But there's more at the top because the tire's going in. So I may be able to just pull these in a little bit. It'd be easy enough to do with a piece of angle iron right here. See, this is still wiggly. I think that's what I'll do, is just give me another piece of angle iron, tack it in. It'd be nice if I don't have to do anything. I don't think that's gonna work out, but and of course I could put a 1 inch adapter in there, and that'd solve the problem altogether. If fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to weld up everything all straight the way it is and bracket it good. And if I have tire problems, I'll just get a couple spacers and move them out an inch. No big deal. Of course, you could just get a different offset wheel, but spacers would be a cheap way to fix it. That way I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to tub it and move things around, and I'll need to jack up, you know, the tires one at a time and see how much they twist. I'm going to put a semi-triangulated suspension in there. I'm going to use those little bars, and I'm going to bring them within about a foot of each other in the middle, so the tires will rotate a little, but not a whole lot. I could solve it all with a 4-link, but I didn't have the stuff for a 4-link. I could make one, but don't really want to. But basically, it's all straight. Now I can finish making my braces and start welding up the front parts there and make that all fit. Put braces in, put the trunk in, get some hinges for that. Not sure what I'll do for that. I'm not going to use like gate hinges or anything like that. I want it to close nice and not leak. You know, the rest of the car is going to be pretty nice, so I want to make that pretty nice too. And I'll build an interior out of wood, plywood probably. It'll be good enough. Like and subscribe, guys. I'll press on.